Hi guys, welcome to today's video. We're continuing our series where China becomes the world's greatest power. And we're at episode 2. We'll really dominate the world, global domination. And the first thing that happens, this is the episode where the invasion of Taiwan happens. The episode we've all been waiting for. Okay, what's next? Philippines joins. South Korea joined. Oh no, Japan joined! This can't get any worse for China, can it? Oh no, Australia, New Zealand joined, no! Now Australia, now China's getting scared. Oh no, not South Africa. Okay, it's just France. Not Britain. Not French Guiana. Not America! And yeah, guys, America joined the war! America's in the war! And what else? Well, China quickly moves towards annexing the island as China sets up a major naval blockade. And I'll use this color to represent it. I don't know how great of an idea. This is where China has its naval control too. Right around Taiwan. So it looks imminent that a quick and swift invasion is going to happen. China knows they need to win in this front before the Americans get here. Now let's get that color and go blue. Or go home. And show where the blue team's navy is all prepared for the fight. With China now deciding its best focus is the Philippines, as the Philippines could be used to make a naval blockade, so they go down to the Philippines, and they go right around it. And they basically take huge swaths of land from the Philippines. The Australians and American navies are also arriving, so we'll be able to see where they go. And the Brits and South Africans. South Africa, for some reason, I feel like would do this. I don't even know why. Probably wouldn't, but we're just doing this because China needs to become the strongest nation in the world. China having a major success in the Philippines. This sets the road for China to make Australian aid harder to get to Japan. With Japan and South Korea launching their own attack against China, which has some success. Now they have the waters around Beijing blocked. So they move into phase 2, an invasion of North Korea, which they take North Korea out and take Kim Jong-un hostage. Really? Yep, they took Kim Jong-un hostage. And they move up into southern China. And China's like, no, get out of my territory right this instant, Japan. And them going like, bye. And then they move into North Korea. They liberate North Korea, or so they call it, liberation. With the British and American navies in a bad spot along with Australians. Australia's navy is to keep China north. It's not really succeeding as the Strait of Malacca is refusing to align with them. And I mean refusing. With North Korea being liberated but not the waters until quickly after the water is taken over. With them basically moving up. What are those islands called? I thought I knew them. No, that's not what it's called. Although, I don't know what it's called, so can somebody tell me? Please? That'd be interesting to know. And yeah, with Japan losing its southern island and some islands, they realize at this point, they're going to be forced to be a Chinese puppet. And with this happening, Australia, America, China, and all the other nations involved, they all meet at the negotiating tables in neutral Mumbai. And in the Treaty of Mumbai, China annexes Taiwan. They don't annex any of the Philippines, even though they want to. Probably be a strategic blow if they did. But the Philippines has a big population, so they're a bit nervous doing that. But they do annex some northern lands to build some naval bases. And some of the southern lands to build a base. Yes, China views that's best if they take only a tiny bit of land, not the full thing. Which, if they were building an empire, they probably would. But at this point, they need to get that nation ready to join them. They make a Japanese puppet, which is pretty good. Now they have some of the bigger economies. The Americans are embarrassed on the world stage, and a lot of people in NATO are wondering, should we really? And then Europe decides they have to build their own navy. Army, basically. Because look, more was lost than gained. And the US realizes protecting Taiwan was not a good idea. With China pressuring Russia into annexing Belarus. With this pressure working, with them annexing Belarus. And they do it. And then they invade into the Caucasus. This is one, obviously. And trying to establish themselves as a world power. China also is struggling and trying to align these nations, but are struggling still. With Russia being told by China, with Russia deciding this is the best time to invade its former allies. The disbanding the CSTO, with Moldova joining, and I mean joining, and all the Central Asian nations are now at war with Russia. Well, two nations, Bolivia decides to join this campaign, with Russia being aligned to China, but not a Chinese ally. With China having major success, like major success, getting people to align with them and conquering most of Asia. Well, I should get another color to say major, like, economic partners. So I could mark, like, places they wouldn't invade. You know, they could. Like, places that sign, like, economic treaties, I'm going to make, like, a different group for them. That'd include India, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and a few others. With Russia wanting to gain all the Caucasus, they didn't get to do that. Afghanistan wants some of southern Tajikistan, a tiny chunk of Uzbekistan, and a bit of territory from Turkmenistan. China saying for their effort in helping Russia conquer it, they should be compensated with these lands. Russia does accept eventually, despite not wanting to. China says, well, we'll invade you if you don't give us what we want. And that scares Russia, because they saw China beat the West. Not exactly, but they did. Russia is getting close to joining. Russia decides they need new allies after they just oofed all their allies. So yeah. Smart move, Russia. Oof all of your allies. And then you're like, oh, we need new allies. And then they're like, well, we can always go with China. They have allies, and some of them are good, reasonable allies for us to have. Like Iran, would probably become an ally of this alliance too, if we join China. And you can get some of your allies to join. Russia, I just eat all my allies. Except Iran and Venezuela. But Venezuela is pretty far. Wouldn't you agree? Who knows? But it's a good distraction for the West. With a Russia entrance forming, not the Russia, a lot of people call this the Russia-China coalition, but the alliance of this becomes the New World Order. Yep, that sounds like a good name for it. With everybody voting on allowing Russia to join. Overwhelmingly. Why do I feel like the color I'm using for ally seems dumb? Should we just make it a bit darker even? With Russia pressuring countries like Iran to join, so Iran does join. Venezuela they pressure, and Cuba, which they all accept. But for economic ties, I think I'll use this color for economic ties, a light blue. Like Egypt, I would say would be like getting big economic allies. India seems a bit crazy, but it's true. They would be considered as this. I think that'd be all. But that's all for today's video, China's world conquest. Stay in tune for next episode for more world conquest. And also at this point, it's going to be like aligning people, but that doesn't mean China won't turn on some of its puppets and start annexing its puppets outright, or even allies. Let's try to move the allies closer. India probably will be one day betrayed when China's ready. The economies of the West has crumbled, which is good for China. That's all for today's video. Stay in tune for the next video. Bye, guys. Wild Mapper out.